Hey, swtorPaladin here, and I haven't read the forums in a week or two, and I thought, with 2.9 coming out, I think it's time to address some issues, and the biggest issue that everyone's been talking about is whether or not to lower the flagship cost. It's 50 mil, and I guess if you tally it all together, it's supposedly 130, even 130 mil, even though there's been no official post. Some Reddit thing. I don't give a shit about Reddit. I think Reddit's completely irrelevant, but some people like it for some reason. But there's an official forum. It should all be on the official forum, so the official forum's where I go. There's a lot of different threads on what to do about the flagship cost. There's not one single thread, even though every single thread has devolved into exactly the same argument. And I have my own ideas, and obviously I've been trying to pitch these ideas for a month, and my ideas are stupid, and of course, because everybody only gives a crap about their own idea and doesn't even read everyone else's. So we're going to go through. There are 3 of these. I had tried to choose one of the 3. They're all talking about the same thing, because there's some trolls that just keep... The trolls have hijacked every single one of them. You're not allowed to, have any opinion or anything. As you can see, there's already up to 32 pages of a lot of people that are not going to buy the forums, or buy the guild ship. I'm certainly not going to buy the forums. The guild ship. And some people that swear up and down that 50 mil is absolutely nothing. So we're just gonna read. We're gonna read through these. Let's just this out. So, also keep in mind this forum page is only 3 days old. 32 pages and 3 days old. So, and there's at least 3 huge ones. So anyway, let's get started. This guy, Nick Sunrider. After reading through the forums this whole day, I see there is great discontent. There has been a lot of in your face, too, but I'll ignore that. As such, those in agreement, please post your concurrence below. As estimated elsewhere at present, it would take 4 level 55s, 108 hours each, of dailies to get the flagship. This is not reasonable. Oh, okay. Signed, I'm for 5 to 10 million, 20 million max. As a compromise, though, I'd really prefer it to be cheaper than 20. Oh, okay. Totally against this. Flagship should be something earned, not something given, 'cause I play a game. I deserve all content for nothing. Go play the game. If your guild is broke, learn some economics. Stop buying CC on the GTN for millions and save up for something worthwhile. Okay. I recall BioWare saying they were monitoring how many credits guilds had in their bank, and they were going to average it or something. I find it very, very difficult to believe the average guild has 50 million credits in the build bank, especially without any sort of guild tax. Signed. P.S. Why not make the capital ship free on the PTS so people can test it? LOL. Yeah. I've heard a lot of people say that's pretty stupid, that they didn't just make the stupid thing free on the test server. How the hell are we supposed to test the damn thing? Anyway, this guy says, guild ships are not for everyone. Wow. They must only be for guilds then. Dumbass. 100% against. I cannot believe that the one thing they put into this game that people have to actually work for gets instantly bashed by those who, surprisingly, are happy to receive without challenge. I had thought it to be higher. Guilds need a reason to work together and play. Now you have it. Hate to break it to you, but there aren't that many guilds left in the game. But okay, moving on. This guy. They have never before had a reason to accumulate mass credits in the bank. A lot of guilds would, however, be able to afford this with donations from its members. Yeah, except nobody wants to donate anything to this, but we'll get to that later. I do not agree to lowering the cost. We are a moderate-sized guild on Youngma, one of the smallest servers in the game. At the announcement of guildships, we started only minor savings, fundraising, etc. And went from a mostly unused guild bank to having a nice 60 mil saved. We were expecting to have raised much more. 50 mil is peanuts for an entire guild to raise, but mostly it doesn't say like how big his guild is, so whatever. Signed, between 20 and 30 million would be a reasonable about. 50 is just too much in my opinion. Most guilds won't even close from having access to this content at launch. Okay. 50 million in credits isn't hard to earn for a guild. The only problem is the selfish player that don't want to put forth effort to get one. Yeah. He's got some good points, I think. Let's see here. It's no mystery that guild ships were coming, and that they would have had a credit cost. Any guild leadership with sense would have been making allowances for that and accumulating cash. 50 million really isn't much at all to collect from an active membership. And if the membership isn't active, why have a ship at all? Okay. I do not support a reduction in the cost of guild capital ships. 50 million is an achievable price for a guild of any size that is willing to put in the effort to obtain a capital ship. Okay. They're not asking if you don't support it. They're asking if you do support it. People just think each of these threads is just a free-for-all to spout their opinion. It's really stupid. Oh, and there's another person that's not supporting it. I don't, apostrophe in the wrong place, support this. 50 millions et fine and easily reachable for a standard guild. You have to earn it. It's an investment, not a gift to everyone. I will sign as don't nerf the cost, BW. Just don't agree with casuals for one time, please. If we had a guild tax for a while, 50 mil would have been alright. We have a healthy repair fund in the millions that covers weekly repairs for our 4 raiding groups. We sell the crafting material with a benefits at first, hence the current value of our bank. But deposits are barely non-existent otherwise. Maybe we are generous with our guild funds, but the fact is we are supporting good players who may not have the time because of real-life work and babies to run dailies every day. That's true, babies do mess up raid groups, let me tell you what. If you've ever been in one, you'd know what I was talking about. So keeping the upkeep is easy. Generating a real profit was never the objective. We hopefully thought we had enough, winky face. Obviously there are some members who could pitch in and buy multiple ships, winky face. But it should be a guild effort, and that's what our funds have been about. And our current qualifying accounts is slowly getting lower with lower subscription. Yeah, that's true. Now, it's not catastrophic either. We can manage. Obviously, we'll find a way, but I understand it will be more difficult for other guilds. Yeah, he seems like a pretty reasonable guy. I would join. Like, if I needed a guild, this guy seemed pretty legit. Okay. Much QQ, such rage. Don't change the price, plus BW. Wow. Yeah, M. Let's not decrease it. Guild ships need to be expensive. How much do you think Enterprise and WO2 would have cost? It's the flagship of your guild. It's supposed to be expensive. Moving on to why it's still easy to get. I don't understand why they keep saying it's both expensive and easy to get at the same time. But we'll get to that later. Doing dailies is not 108 hours per 4 persons. Not sure how you managed to calculate 108 hours per 4 persons TBH. If I calculate it back to credit gain per hour, I see you think 115.740 per hour is the max to get dailies. 5,108 times 4, 115, I don't know which dailies you're running, but if you do either the Black Hole or Zerka, you'll get at least 100k per run, and they take only 15 minutes. Even doing Teresian Pirates on Terrace will gain a 300k at least for 1 hour of grinding the heroic forge, just run out and reset. Not forgetting the sales of the orange pieces and vendor trash. Black Hole or Zerka, at least 100k per run, either will take you 15 minutes. I fucking swear he just said that. Or else you need to learn to play. How does learning to play have to do with running Zerka and Black Hole? Anyway, 100k per 15 minutes, 400k per 60 minutes, 1 hour, 50 million. Oh, 50 million divided by 400,000 equals 125 hours per 1 person. But again, as you'll see later, this depends on whether or not you can actually talk people into giving you all the money that they earn, which they're not going to want to. Gets even better if more people are doing it. 2 persons equals 62.5 hours, 4 persons 31.25, and so on and so forth. The problem with this is, and I think it's in one of the other threads, they talk about how the instances can't even hold that many people, and if guilds were actually going to do something like this, they actually want to be able to hang out on the same server, and they're not able to because the servers puke once you get to right here. So anything past that, and everyone's on a second server, and it just gets really stupid. Plus, you're effing everybody else that's in the server because there's likely are going to be, you know, if you're on Black Hole or Zerka, there's already going to be 5, 10, 15 people there. So I guess you'd have to start your own instance and then move everybody over to the other instance, and your server would be running around with 40 guildies, which I guess would be really fun, but think of all the other things you could do. Anyway, blah blah blah. 3 other ways to make cash for casuals. Do Terror from Beyond and Scum and Villainy story mode. Yeah, because casuals want to do story mode ops. And yes, they generate loads of cash. Yes, we know that. Sell crafting mads to GTN with little effort. You can amass wealth very fast. Yes, that's true, but you're competing with all the other people doing it at the same time, which is really irritating. Sell exotic elements of you Flashpoint runs. Yes, that's why the bonus boss is so good. Oh, he's got a point. Except you're screwing all the other people that you're running with, and you have to leave it up to one person to sell them, and usually the other people in the group are going to take them if they're not your guildies, and even if they are your guildies, they're going to want to sell it, just keep the money. Anyway, solo lobby heroic force by pulling the whole instance and AoEing everything into oblivion. This is not... this doesn't work. Heroic fours, lobby heroic fours don't get you any more money than normal heroic fours. A guildie was trying that a while back. He wasn't abusing it, just tried it. We were doing the Ilum flashpoints, and the whole entire Ilum flashpoint, we got something like 10k or something each of us, which is like 20k put together. So that's oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, moving on. 4-man guilds. You don't really expect it to be easy for a 4-man guild to get a ship, right? Most semi-active guilds I know have at least 30 to 60 subscribed members. I don't believe him at all. I've heard a lot of people throw numbers around like this. I don't believe it. I actually think most of the guilds in the game right now are less than 10 members. 10 active subscribed members. I think there's a lot of them, and I think the guilds are starting to merge, and we'll get to that later. But, yeah, this number is bogus. There are a couple with like 50 plus, 200 plus, but it's a very, very small number. Averaging out will never make it easy for a 4-man guild. I have no idea why he said that. 5 cash in store. Most guilds I know have loads of credits in store. Most between have 55 to 30. I've heard this repeated a lot too. This is not true. I don't know where they come up with this. I asked all of my friends. None of them had a guild with more than 50. Most of them didn't have a guild with more than 10, and some of them had actually been completely picked clean and robbed blind by people that have been infiltrating the guilds and stealing all the money. So this number's bullcrap for the most part. There's a few, but it's a very small number, and you have to add all the servers together to come up with guilds that actually have that money. But you'll see this number repeated over and over and over again. And also, the other reason for that is because these people have characters in lots of guilds. They don't tell you that in their convenient, cute little signatures, but they have characters in lots of guilds, and that is the real reason why they won't help anybody. And they get to that later too, talking about, well, I'm in 6 different guilds. How the hell am I going to help 6 different guilds get their guildship, right? Which is very fair. So anyway, this is Darth Trollbag. He trolls this whole entire thing. I'm surprised I don't have him on Ignore, actually. I think it's because I thought he got banned or modded out, but it turns out that he didn't. He likes to quote Isaac Bashevis Singer in his signature, even though he oppresses and bullies everybody in every single one of his posts, but just keeps quoting this person anyway. He's one of those absolute hypocritical trolls. But anyway. Oh, look, another thread complaining about the same thing. I'm really starting to love my suggestion of pricing the flagships at 1 million credits per unique complaint thread. Let's go for 100 million. The OP acts as if grinding is the only way to get credits. It's not even the best way. Go read the crafting forums. Be the solution to the problem you perceive. 50 million is easy. Now here's the thing. If 50 million is easy, why don't we just make 2 guild ships? Okay. We'll have like a cheaper, smaller one for us, make it like 25 mil. And then we'll make one for all of them, and we'll make it like 1 billion credits. Since 50 million is so easy, and if they want this to be hard, we'll just make a guild ship that costs like 1 billion credits. And that's what the bigger guilds will have to get. But you'll see later that they conveniently ignore that. See, they love to say 50 million is easy to troll the rest of us. But there's a few that like, well, I wish it was higher. But you'll never actually see them volunteer to pay for a higher guild ship. You won't. So anyway, moving on. Well, 100 millions isn't a problem for our guild too, so Bioware, please do that. I want more tears from casuals. See, they're trolling. But you don't actually see them to volunteer to actually pay 100 million. They're just trying to troll people. I am against lowering the cost. If you want something as awesome as a giant guild flagship for your guild, you damn well better believe it's going to cost a lot of credits. It should remain 50 million credits. It makes it a challenge to get it, and if you truly want it, the whole guild can contribute. No hands out there. No, that's bullshit. The guild's not going to contribute. The other thing is, he says that 50 million makes it a challenge, but everybody else here says that 50 million is easy. Hi, cat. Keep going. Thank you. So which is it? Is 50 million easy or is 50 million a challenge? Alright. Same as my guild too. As soon as it was announced, we started offloading mats that we didn't need. Well, that was a huge mistake, wasn't it? I bet you need those mats now. You're probably effed. Started fundraising and doing events. Within 2 weeks, we raised enough. For example, we did a lottery. Pool was 9 mil. So if I recall correctly, winner got 6 and 3 went to the guild. So he gave even more money away? That sort of thing, as well as running dailies in a 4-man group and throwing a percentage of your profits in the guild bank. That seems completely counterproductive. So, this guy says, I would like a slightly lowered cost, but only so that I can get done with buying flagships faster. What? I was not expecting it to be so high, but I guess most people have more money than I thought. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Nobody really had a good idea, so, it would have been nice if it was lower. I agree. I find it sorta illogical to even formulate an opinion on something with virtually no information on. Once we actually know something on guild ships, such as size, capabilities, and such, then we all can more of a opinion on what is a good price. I do love the fact that cartel coins have nothing at all to do with the ships, and agree with people who say this should be something that all guilds should have to work together for. The weird thing is, though, is that all the strongholds, you actually can buy them with cartel coins. So, I don't know. It might be still with the guild ships. Who knows? We don't know. So, please don't make it cheaper. I don't like handouts. Players need something to work towards. This game needs more of that. That extra push and motivation to get something. I miss spending months of getting rep/tokens for a mount and noticing that not many players have it. That's what this game needs more. Oh shit, then you won't mind paying more for your guild ship then. A more exclusive guild ship. You wouldn't mind that, okay? But I guess you would mind that. We'll find out more later. Please don't lower the cost. If anything, it should be higher. Guild cities/ships should be an achievement. And at 50 mil, they are not really. So you're admitting that it's a low price, not a high price. And, you won't see them offering to actually pay more, though. They like to say that, but that's it. But as mentioned, we have known since the Guild Summit, which was around patch 1.1.5, that one of the metrics they can track is player wealth. So the amount would definitely be based on that sort of info. Yeah, I agree. But here's the problem. Nobody wants to part with the money that they have. The guilds don't want to donate their money because this is not that kind of game. There's no tax in the game. Nobody wants to donate their money. They all want to spend the money on themselves and their own stuff, and their own strongholds, and their own decorations. The guilds don't want to put in money, because they could just immediately get kicked out. The guild could disband. The guild master could quit. There's checks and balances, but they're not very good. So, while this is true, it doesn't change the culture of the players. Unless you're on an RP server, and then it's different. But for the non-RP servers, I can't imagine that it's going to go very well. Flagship should be the domain of a propped run serious guild. 50 mil is the right amount. Oh, somebody actually saying that 50 mil is the right amount. Interesting. Okay. Amount. It's the right amount. Not signed. I think 50 mil is fair. We need to stop tuning the game to the lowest common denominator. No, that's not true. If it was lowest common denominator, it would cost about 2 mil to buy a guild ship, you dumbass. In 2 months, our guild raised enough. Republic side 135 mil, Empire 72 mil. I am sorry if folks are in inactive guilds or guilds where folks do not want to work as a team to achieve a goal. either find a better guild or enjoy your planetary stronghold. Yeah, okay. Pretty reasonable person. Still, this isn't about whether or not you disagree. It's only a thread whether you agree. But whatever. There's actually another thread where is about people that are okay with the price. This is the thread if you're not okay with the price, but people are stupid. To update my previous post, I just did some run-throughs on dailies. Black Hole Solo, 8 minutes. Plus 6 for soloing the hard mode, 90k. Joined up with a guildie. Ilum, 19 minutes, 75k. Was unlucky with random drops. Guildie got more. Oh, so that means they're not even consolidating. They're just guildies greeting on everything? That's just sloppy. Don't tell me that you guys are somehow... Here's the thing. Don't tell me that guilds are going to be able to magically get along if they have to still sit there and greed on every green that drops. If you have to greed on greens that drop, even though all the money is supposed to be going to the guild bank, don't think that that's going to work somehow. Anyway, circa 6 minutes, 80k. Section X, 21 minutes, 120k. No weekly, no heroic 4. Why not? That heroic 4 only takes about 5 minutes. Well, although you need 4 people to do it, which is irritating. We forgot to run Oricon. How did you forget to run Oricon? Or is it just because Oricon's really long and you're lying? In a matter of a bit more than 1 hour, I made close to 400k, and my guildie, who somehow must have hacked the rolls, ended up with 450k. And while I was doing dailies, I sold exotic elements for another 350k. We don't all have exotic elements, but anyway. Not sure why that person thought dailies were that low, but I can tell you that he's wrong. Oops. Not signed, I think 50 million is a reasonable amount. Disagree. $50? $50? The guild ship's going to cost $50? Oh well, I guess that's what that guy thinks. $50 is fine. My guild has wanted a ship for the longest time, and once the announcement was made, we started up a ship fund. So far, we've raised over $100. Holy shit! These guys have found a way to make real money somehow. Did they sell gold or something? They sell credits or something? That doesn't include what we have in the guild bank. Wow. So they've raised real money somehow and have money in their guild bank on top of that. Wow, those guys have got their shit together. It doesn't say what guild he is, but man, they've got freaking money. And here's Darth Trollbag again. No kidding, you say you took a proactive approach when the ships were announced in March and now have no problem at all with the cost? Who'd have thunk it, Tongueface? Maybe those who are just figuring out you can't get a ship by selling a slightly used droid elbow can have enough money, but by July minus March equals 4 months plus July equals November, D-Face? There has always been a reason, and hence why a guild exists in the first place, because the members enjoy playing the game and enjoy playing it together. A high cost of an in-game feature should never be a reason to play together. Ah! Let's get to the chase. All the arguments against just boiled down to one thing. E-Peen. Sorry, folks. E-Peen was a thing of the 80s and 90s. Welcome to the 21st century of casual gaming. Get used to it. It is here to stay, and the gaming industry is better because of it. Nobody cares about your E-Peen except yourself. He's got a really good point. Nobody really cares about each other's E-Peens. They only care about their own E-Peen. And yeah, guilds are not going to magically start playing together just because of guild ships and just because of something that costs a lot of money. People think that's going to happen, but you know what's going to bring the people together is the crafting, right? Because they've got to craft all this stuff. That's what's going to bring the people together, not raising the money. And there's a separate crafting thread and everybody's getting along. It's the stupid money thing that everybody's hung up on. But the thing is, the people that are concerned about it are actually in the game making money right now. They're not on this board, and you can probably hear it in the background, but I've got swtor playing in the background. I'm doing diplomacy right now because I'm working on that. Getting medical grade supplies, because that's what you're going to need. That's why I keep pausing the video, because Pinkerton's working on medical grade supplies. So, anyway, yeah, agree with this person. 25 million is my suggestion. Simple, cut in half, yet instantly more reasonable for many types and sizes of guilds. There's a lot of people that throw out the 25 million number. I actually think the 25 million number would be really good. I think that would be very, very fair. 25 mil, and then 5 mil a room. If there's a lot of rooms, it still comes out to something like 50 mil when you're all said and done. But at least once people see the ship, then I think they would be more willing to start putting money down for the rooms. Anyway, moving on. Please don't lower the cost. I like content that has to be worked towards. That gives a sense of achievement, just like every new tier of gear. My PvP rank, new OP, op, or flashpoint. I don't want it to be too easy, then it's no fun. That is all. Well, that's what your personal strongholds are for. Those things are going to cost a fortune. Costs like 10 mil just to max out all your... Actually, and that's if you don't count Nar Shaddaa. Probably be 15, 16, 17 mil to max out all 4 from scratch. Just for your personal strongholds. I disagree with this. I enjoy something that takes a plan and some work to accomplish. Things that are too easy are not that fun because they took no investment by me to achieve. This isn't e-peening, it's simply enjoying working towards a goal. I imagine you enjoy the same process but feel that the goal of 50 million is too high. I feel like it's about right. Oh, okay, fair, pretty fair. Strongly disagree. The current cost is fine. With 3 weeks left till launch, even 5-man guilds can make the most of the 50 million with minimal effort / playtime. There is really little excuse. If not, then it is something to work toward and be proud of. No one deserves a guild ship just for playing the game. Just like no one deserves rank 1 in PvP, or a nightmare clear, or a fully upgraded stronghold. Those are totally different things. Making money in the game has nothing to do with somehow achieving ranked 1. Or clearing a nightmare mode. People are stupid. Anyway, these things are meant to be worked towards and earned. The 50 million is not a huge milestone. For most guilds, it's actually hilariously low cost. So if it's a low cost, why don't we jack the price up? Make 2 ships, jack the price up. I don't know. It's not. Anyway, since it's so low that they don't even care. Why don't we jack the price up on them? By the way, the guild tabs for your guild bank are more expensive than it is to get the guild ship. Just FYI. Maybe not once you're done maxing out your guild ship, but anyway. Guild bank costs like 100 mil to fully unlock or something like that. Anyway, if you have 5 men in your guild, I guess they don't have any girls in their guild. That sucks. I wouldn't join their guild. In your guild, you do the 20 min Oricon day. Oricon doesn't take 20 minutes. Every day on even one character for the 3 weeks until release. That will net you around 30 million. If they give you all the money. Which they won't. Why the hell would they do that? I wouldn't ask somebody to do that. I'd ask for maybe 5% or 10% or something. And that would take forever. Why would I just take everybody's money? That's not what being a guild's about. They don't actually get ownership of the guild ship, which is the problem. That's what people want. If you said it's going to cost 50 million and everybody gets to equally own the damn thing, then people will be okay with it, but they don't get to do that. Only the guild master is going to own it. you can't give them some kind of permanent key or something like that. Anyway, do another set of dailies for a total of 35 minutes a day, or on an alt. Most people have an average of 1 to 2 alts. How do you know that? How do you know how many alts everybody has? You have like access to all of our characters and some kind of database, and you will easily have 50 million before launch. We have been told the cost with plenty of time to get money, even without indulging in really efficient credit farming circuits, selling things, or playing the economy. There aren't very many people that like to play the economy, let alone even know how. And doing the credit farming circuits is boring. Here's the thing, we've been doing that for like 10 months now. 11, I can't even remember. I mean, even if you don't count Belsavis and Ilum, it's been about a year since Zerka came out, I think. I can't even remember. People are freaking getting tired of it, and then you're asking to do it again? Anyway. People seem to either want the ship right off the bat or unwilling to give personal donations. Yeah, they are unwilling to give personal donations. Anyway, that isn't going to work. It's akin to not wanting to splash out of blue stim's adrenals and being unwilling to put in a small amount of time to learn a fight, yet feeling entitled to clear Nim raids on week 1. I don't think anybody actually feels entitled to clear Nim raids. I actually think they're happy when they get their asses beat on a Nim run, but whatever. I do not understand this mentality. It's been shown just how easy it is to make the 50 mil. Well, then you wouldn't mind if we jacked the price up, would you? My guild was under the impression that this ship was going to be upwards of 100 million, so 50 was a nice surprise. And like a lot of people here have already said, we even started saving up for it right away with the impression of probably having to save up to 100 million. I think the price is fine where it is. We feel like we worked hard and accomplished something as a group. This shouldn't just be handed to you for nothing. Okay, fair enough. Except for that 100 million is not going to cover it, since there's all the room unlocks you're going to have to do. But I hope you're okay with that too. You wouldn't mind grinding another 30 million, would you? A group of people working in coordination with one another can... and by the way, good for you for having a guild that would actually help you with that. A group of people working in coordination with another can accomplish more than an individual, yeah, if you can get them to cooperate. Otherwise, Peyton could just go out on the field alone. Some sports reference, I guess. I'm in a guild. This offers me the opportunity to do things that would be difficult alone, so be it operations, ranked PvP, walking around the west coast of Ilum, tongue face. Getting a guild ship appears to be one of those things. The high price has resulted in some of our members that don't log in very often are playing more to make some money, yeah, that they're going to use for their own stronghold, not you. Our crafters have desk stuff their alts to send them on more crafting missions. Yeah, but this is because of the crafting aspect, not because of the guild ships. See, we formed up for some easier ops. Yeah, that's what we've been doing too, but not everybody likes to do ops. It has resulted in us investing more time playing the game. How's this a bad thing? It's very true. It's a good thing, but it's not being done the right way. Plus, I'm pretty sure BioWare didn't actually do that on purpose. It was probably an accident. Since if they did it on purpose, they would have made some smarter decisions, like just increase the stack of mats we can put in a pile. Anyway, let's cut to the chase. I think I've read that a couple times now. Anyway, all arguments for just boil down to one thing. They want their goodies without putting in the effort. Welcome to the 21st century where no one knows how to work for anything they want anymore. They all want their gold stars and their trophies just for showing up. I've heard this argument a lot, and while this is usually true, this situation doesn't apply because people have already said 50 million isn't anything. If 50 million isn't anything, then it shouldn't be a big deal. Aren't you saying that you want yours for 50 mil and that 50 mil isn't anything? So aren't you getting your gold star and trophy just for showing up? Since 50 mil is so easy, wouldn't you want it to be even harder? But he doesn't say that. Anyway, No one's argued that this should be free. Everyone acts like anyone who doesn't want it to be an isolated and ridiculously large cost suddenly think someone's being an entitled brat. Pay attention, people. This is about being entitled. I thought you just were implying that it wasn't about being entitled. I think he means this isn't about being entitled. This is allowing broader player-based access content. Yeah, exactly. If you guys want your accomplishment, go play the contest stuff and win yourself a planet. Ha! Exactly. If you guys think you're such badasses, let's see how you do. You know, and your millions and hundreds and tens and whatever millions isn't going to mean squat if you get your ship, and then us, a much smaller guild, take your stuff from you because our crafters are better. Because I honestly think that Conquest is going to boil down to how good your crafters are. And we have some pretty mean crafters in the guild. So, what up above when people said they're dusting their crafters off, that's what's happening. I think Conquest is going to be a crafter war. And it's funny, again, you go down to the crafting thread, and they're ready to kick ass. These threads are just troll bait. It's the crafters that are cracking their knuckles, wanting to show these people what's up. That's the accomplishment. 90% of the people arguing the cost don't even care about the conquest mechanic. It's very true. They don't. They don't, and that's the point. They only care about their EP measuring contest, which is stupid because they refuse to actually take a price increase since it's such a big deal to them. They say it's easy, but then they say to keep the price. It's like, well, if it's easy, but you say you want a challenge, then you wouldn't mind if we up the price. Alright, just had to run some more diplomacy missions. Okay. Because I'm crafting my ass off too. And you should be too when you're reading this. Pause this and go work on your crafting if you haven't started already. Anyway, I should have said that at the beginning. Oh, I feel stupid. Oh well. I'll get a lot of rude, snotty kids calling me out on this, but I'm getting really tired of elitists attempting to own this game. Okay. I've been in those guilds and progression groups, done the content, so I know how to play my tunes. You want bragging rights? Stick to taking your screenshots to pat yourselves on the back. And for being the first to get drops in NIMOBs. I like the guild I am in. They aren't the best group of players, but they are good people, and that's important. Good people. We all work and have lives, kids, family, mortgages. Why should super guilds be the only ones to get a guild ship? So we have to join you to get a game perk? Please. I've been there. Invited friends to join the guild and they were shunned because they weren't as good as the players in my ops group. It's game, people, to have fun with. Quit being selfish and looking for bragging rights and let everyone enjoy the game. The guild shouldn't... The ship shouldn't be more than 5 to 10 mil. That's a lot for a small guild to come up with. That's true. This person says 20 mil is reasonable. I think 10 is a little low. I think 20 is fine. If you can do 10, you can do 20. But the jump between like 20, 25, and 50 is insane. Disagree, 50 million is fine. Okay. I support that motion to lower the cost. After all, in my very casual friendly guild, I would have to pay the whole ship on my own, and I rarely even hit 1 million. Most of the time I'm below that. And this is going to be normal. Having to pay for the whole ship, or almost the whole ship by yourself, because usually the guild master's got more drive than everybody else, and they're the one that's been holding the guild together, so they're going to have to go get the guild ship. Some are going to merge, but the problem with merging is you can only have one guild master. Unfortunately, in this game, they don't let you have more than one. There's other games where they let you have more than one guild master, and that's what this game needs. The guilds need multiple guild masters, or some kind of lifetime membership thing, but oh well. I strongly oppose reducing the cost further. 50 million compared to how easy it is to get credits via dailies or by buying crates with CC stipends. And selling the items on GTN or via crafting or even by playing the GTNs really a small pittance. 50 million is a fairly easy price to meet for a solo player. Forget about a guild. Heck, I have over 6 million credits, and I'm not even trying to make credits. 6 is insanely smaller than 50. I mean, 6 is nothing. My characters are floating 6 million all the time. That's how much liquid I keep. That's how much the liquid in the whole guild keeps. Everyone's floating somewhere between 2, 3, 6 mil at any given time. That's still way far away from the 50 million number. And I can't get the guild to give up their liquidity, nor would I, because if something pops up that they want, like a Revan mask or cheap Walker or cheap Bantha or something, I'm not going to make them all get rid of their liquidity just so we can get a ship a little bit faster. And he's even saying he has about 6 million liquidity. But that's different than having 50 million. You have to increase this number and then keep putting the excess away, which is really hard for people to do. Especially when you've got repairs and shit. You go do an op and the op ends up costing you 50k. Because you're wiping. Anyway, I made a post recently, I thought about it, maybe 50 mil isn't a bad price. The only thing that's kept me from going free to play is that I have a guild for my alts. Oh, okay. If I have to move my alts to a guild that has enough players to come up with the 50 mil, there's no reason for me to keep subscribing. Also very true. Between unlocks and weekly passes, I don't miss anything. I never use my cartel coins. That's what CC stands for, by the way, not credit card. Although you can actually use the two interchangeably, and it means about the same thing. I have over 15k cartel coins and have between 40 to 50 million credits myself. It fluctuates depending on the market and what I buy. So knock yourselves out, bio-where. Maybe if you make enough things in-game to be a silly amount of credits, you can lose the real dollars coming in. I think what he's trying to say here is the guild ships might actually cost memberships. Because, yeah, I guess if all the guilds merge, and if you can get on the guild ships with free-to-play, then a lot of people unsubscribe because they won't need to pay anymore. But they've never said if they're going to let free-to-players on guild ships at all. If free-to-players can't use guild banks, maybe they won't be able to use guild ships, so they might be screwed when it comes to conquest. I have no idea. In my personal opinion, I think ships should vary in size and capabilities from small frigates to large capital ships or even battle stations. The idea of one fits all never works. However, at least an incremental system fits more players. Small guilds, small ships, big guild, big ship, simple as that. Hell, maybe even raid content to upgrade a ship would have been good to compromise. Yeah, I agree with that. Another person that says keep it at 50 mil. Darth Trollbag. Ironically, actually agrees with this. Even though, as you read before, he disagrees with this, and in fact, if you keep reading multiple pages later, he disagrees with it. Again, it seems to be completely random. I don't know if he's bipolar or what, but he actually suddenly agrees with this, and before and after it will disagree. First of all, /sign. Second, adding a bit of perspective. I have been in the course of 5 guilds on Begarin, ranging from 300 members to 3. Regardless, most active members count at 300 or 5 to 15 people. Yeah, I would agree with this too. Saying maybe one person generates 500k from doing most or all of the dailies, which takes at least 3 to 4 hours. Going off geared 55s doing black hole takes 20 to 35 minutes. Most people, 1, do not want to give away 500k even to their guild, and 2, don't have time to waste 3 to 4 hours a day for money they won't keep, regardless of the final goal. Also very true. Considering active membership is usually 10 to 15 plus on Begarin at least, that means many weeks or possibly months till the flagships even out. That being said, the people who do get flagships, like a couple guilds on Harbinger, who farm the crest and charge 35 mil per crest, will completely overpower the gameplay, making it hard for others to join the fray. This is completely based off what we do know about flagships, and maybe this will be fixed when we see in the PTS in action. Feel free to contradict me or build off me as well. I think he's talking about the Zuhara mask? Is that what the crest is? Anyway, I don't know. I think we'll do one more page, and then we'll call it for now. Not signed. Keep 50 mil. A guild flag is earned, not given. Boo. Tons of asterisks. Who? To the people who complain, I rolly face. So if it's earned, not given, but everybody says that it's easy to get 50 mil, let's just raise the price. Bastion. Jerk off. Absolutely against lowering the cost. Guilds guilds that cannot afford a ship will be able to have strongholds in the meanwhile. Except that guild strongholds are going to be insanely expensive. We won't be able to afford both in our guild. I wanted to get a fully decked out guild Tatooine and a fully decked out guild ship. But the Tatooine stronghold's like 10 times the cost of the normal Tatooine flashpoint, or stronghold, whatever. The guild one's much more expensive than the personal one, so that's kind of out of it. And you can't convert one either, so my Narshtan one is stuck being personal, and we're not going to have a guild one. Or I'll be able to get into Tatooine, but there's no way that I'll be able to afford more than like one room. Unless we can make a lot more money, which doesn't look like it's going to happen. We'll be able to make 50 mil, but that's what these people keep saying. You know, you can make 50 mil, but they don't talk about the rest of it. 50 mil only gets you the ship. It doesn't get you the unlocks, and doesn't get you a stronghold. Guild stronghold. You have to get that separately. To get the guild stronghold and all the unlocks and guild ship and all the unlocks is probably going to be around 200 mil total, but you don't see him talking about that. Anyway, absolutely against lowering the cost. Guilds that cannot afford a ship will be able to have a stronghold, and meanwhile, not really. Again, ships should be something prestigious, not handed out like candy. Heck, I'm currently saving 28 million for a speeder I want. There's no speeder that costs that. Oh, although I heard on Bastion, or no, not Bastion. Maybe it's Progenitor that walkers actually cost like 28 million. But anyway, I was able to get 20 million in 2 weeks of dedicated farming. There's no way I should be able to casually buy a whole ship by myself. You can usually earn $1 million a day with dailies. No, you can't. It's like a full-time job to make $1 million a day doing dailies with just one person. My guild has disbanded. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, dude. And I have joined other more active guilds. Guild flagships are the ultimate trophy for the guilds out there. 50 million is fine the way it is. Only exception would be if they included deductibles on the number of vaults unlocked to the total amount. Now, this, I loved this when he wrote this. Because we've got 4 guild tabs, I think, already. And I would love it if they applied the guild tabs to the ship unlock. Some kind of guild rep or something. So I remember when I read this the first time, I loved this guy's idea. Anyway, smaller guilds out there, you can still get a guild stronghold. That's what your guild's worth. You want a flagship, either get more active and save the credits, join a better, bigger guild. You're not entitled to a flagship. You have to sweat for it. Except that you and everybody else has already said that 50 mil is easy. So if 50 mil is easy, then it's not a problem, and you should raise it. To the OP, don't try to ignore us who are against it. No, because this thread is not about you. This thread's about the people that are for it. There is already a thread that people are against it. There's a different thread, but there's such trolls. This game and these forums are about 50% trolls. Literally. I mean, it's about every other post. They're all trolls. They had their own thread. We are the most active players who are experiencing everything the game has to offer. We spend the most time on TR, whether it's PvE, PvP, RP, or just materials for GTN. We are the blood of the servers. No, you're the trolls. You're the trolls of the servers. Anyway, casual players either get active or stop complaining. The flagships are for the real active guilds out there, not the casual or those who spend their creds haphazardly instead of saving. That's true. Also, if you're a casual, as the name implies, you wouldn't have even been able to use it to the fullest if there are so few of you who are just online, just barely. I'm planning to join a more active guild who don't hold themselves back on what the game has to offer. Nothing is entitled from the get-go. Everything is earned. No holding your hand or spoon-feeding. You work for it if you want it. What he's saying is that there's a lot of people buying the guild ships just to have the guild ships. They're not going to do the conquests at all, and he's saying you should only buy the guild ship if you want to do the conquest. But the guild ship's supposed to be really cool, and some people want guild ships just to hang out with their guilds. That's what I wanted mine for. I didn't know there was going to be some conquest thing. I was going to buy it anyway. So the conquest thing is just a perk, something for us to fart around with on our crafters, as long as we don't need like 1 million of everything. But we want to try to take over a planet because that sounds fun too, or maybe pretend like we're liberating the planet from bad guys or something. Anyway, moving on. Not signed. This shouldn't be changed. It's about time you had to work for something. If your guild can't afford a flagship, learn to make credits. Except they've already said that 50 mil is easy, so you're not really working for anything. Whatever. Guild ships are not for everyone, and this guy says, but they should be. Here's my take. For all those elitists who want small and medium guilds to L2P and spend hours a day for weeks just to finally get a guild ship and still be behind everyone else. Small guilds should have to pay 15, medium 40, and large 250. I think actually this number should be much higher, because if 50 is easy, and if each person could make 50, then 2 people, or 3, 4, 5 people that can so easily make 50 apiece could make 250 in like a week, apparently, you know, since these people say they can make $1 million a day. I mean, it's just like not really a big deal, right? You should have to work for it, right? Not have it handed to you, except you already said that 50 is just handing it to you, but whatever. You and everybody else. But now you're saying 15, and that's fine. If your guild really wants it, there shouldn't be any problem working the GTN or dailies to raise the credits. But then he says right or maybe, and I have no idea what that means. But they can be for any size guild. The only difference between a large guild with active members that contributes lots to the bank and a smaller guild with fewer members that contribute little is that it will simply take longer. Yeah, that's true. You know, if you can get them to donate the money. Signed 20 to 30 mil would be more reasonable for smaller guilds. I love to pay, but I don't want to make a job out of it. Would rather have had tiered unlocks like strongholds. Well, it turns out that there are going to be tiered. It's just that it's going to be 50 to buy your way in at first. Should have made it a little lower to buy your way in. But anyway. And then maybe you have to buy further throughout your ship until you can do the conquest or something like that. Oh well. That'd make too much sense. Signed. While guild ships are certainly something to work for, I feel people, calling others whiners, to be polite, are acting as either elitist haters, but hey, to each their own, deface. Those of you respectfully in your disagreement, power to you, less than 3. Heart. Your guild ships have been one of the most single requested things in the game since before launch. Very true. While strongholds are great, surely for roleplay services, the conquest content, regardless of what it is, will be a major factor in guild recruitment and enjoyment. Without having one, then entire guilds would disappear, I promise you. Without one what? Without having a guild ship? Or without conquest content? I wish you would have elaborated on that. That's a good point. When sections of the game become downright troubling or exclusive, then people are not going to be as inherent to play or partake, and this will disrupt no only in the game economy, but surely have a hit on the out-of-game economics with people and their dedication to the overall experience. Except there's going to be personal conquests. However, they haven't said what the personal conquests are. But if guild conquest is better than personal conquest, then people will probably take all their conquest items and join a guild. The problem is that if you join a conquest guild, and then you start donating your conquest mats and your conquest items, and then you end up hating them, you just wasted tons of materials and resources for a guild that sucks. So, what's that mean about my guild? I don't know. I don't want to attract any extra people to come do conquests with us. But if it ends up attracting some really, really good players that are nice and play well with the team, then I guess I might consider it. I don't know. They would have to be really compelling as to why they want to join and what they actually want to do. But Dredden's back. She says, so a guild with, say, 5 level 55s, well played since launch, and millions should pay less than a guild of 500 players, who all on average barely play past Chapter 1, should pay an amount they can never afford. That seems to be even more arbitrary than 50 million for everybody. What she basically says is there's a lot of big guilds with a lot of new players that just mass recruit, and I agree with that. A level 25 can't donate nearly as much as a geared up level 55. Why am I of the opinion that every person that says they're against this has plenty of credits to spend and is only looking from that point of view? Yep, there you go, bingo. I mean, how does the fact that more people have the option to use flagships diminish or take away from your game? I'm just not understanding the logic here. Well, it's EPing, buddy. One of the very first posts in this thread was pretty downright rude and almost condescending, then it made me create this post. The small guild I run has nowhere near close to 50 mil, and we're determined to get it, and yet I'm fine with the price as it is, but coming here and be so aggressive against it being lower just kind of boggles my mind. It's as though people get enjoyment out of the fact that others won't be able to get the benefit from something. Exactly. But why some are so vocal about this is beyond me. So keep the price 50 mil if you guys feel that's truly the right price, but I'm always open for more to have access to it as well. Very reasonable post. I would probably join this guy's guild too if I didn't have a guild. So anyway, we just finished page 6. I'm going to cut this video, and I haven't done one of these in a while. It would obviously take me hours and hours to go through only this one, and like I said, there's at least 3 that are this size. So I encourage you to get on the PTS or general discussion and read all this arguing back and forth. And if you haven't made up your mind yet, decide for yourself. Decide for yourself if you really want to get your guild ship or not, or if you want to merge guilds or join another guild, or if you really want to donate money, or try to think about what you want to do. Or if maybe you just want to craft and do mats, or maybe you just want to sell mats and work on your own stronghold. But you should spend the next 3 weeks or so trying to figure out what you want to do, because things are going to get interesting really fast, provided this all works. We're supposed to find out about guild ships sometime this week, but we really don't know when. So think about it. And let me know down in the comments if you think 50 mil is a lot or a little, or if there should be 2 different kinds of guild ships, or if the guild ship should have unlocks or shouldn't, or if you should be able to buy it with cartel coins, or how you'd like to donate to your guild, or if you'd like a tax. You know, take a look. See what you think. Let me know what you think, and you already know what I think, because I just tell everybody. It's not some big secret. Our guildies are going to donate money, but they don't know how much they're going to donate yet, because they don't know if it's actually going to stay 50 mil or not, and they don't want to lose their liquidity. And I told them all they can hold on to their money as long as they want. We'll get a guild ship no matter what, even if I have to pay for the whole entire thing myself. And actually, we are very close to already being able to buy the guild ship with just the money I've raised. So with everybody else donating their money, we won't be able to buy all the extra rooms and stuff, or maybe everyone else will help buy the guild stronghold. I don't know, but suffice to say, we'll be fine. Our guild will be fine. I don't know about everybody else's guild. So, you know, think about what you want to do. There's already guilds merging, but I don't know how much that's going to help. Because why would you merge with another guild and then give them all your money? It just seems weird, since there's no lifetime membership or anything like that. Anyway, that's all I got. I'm going to cut it here, and thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.